right now.
I see you, but no sound. Oh, now I have sound.
Yep.
Do you have sound?
Should
Hi, everybody.
just have to refresh
There we go.
again.
Okay, we got the settings right. Hello, Brenda, Alice, Betty, Marilyn, Glenda. Nice to see you all out there. Welcome, welcome. Today we're going to do a Christmas Like No Udder kit. I loved your comment, Alice, about the utterly wonderful class. Hi, Betty McSorley. Waiting for the cows to come home, Betty says. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, let's take a look at your class kit, see what we get here. Okay, of course, we get our topper set with our utterly wonderful cows. Love this. These are just aren't these just the cutest cows, guys? They're just so cute. I love them with their hair hanging over their eyes. Kind of like me. My hair hanging.
Yourself a cow?
Well, I'm not calling myself a cow, but I do have hair hanging over my eyes a lot of the time these days. Yeah, they really are extra sparkly with that holographic foiling, aren't they? Great fun. I actually thought about putting glitter on these, and then I thought, I'm not sure we need to glitter those. Between the Nuvo Drops and the holographic foiling, I think they got the sparkles covered for us. Okay, in addition, we should have in your kit a half a sheet of acetate. We should have a sheet of rainbow Mirri. You should have some envelopes, which we have here. You should have a gatefold card. You should have, it's never dawned on me until right now that these are all 6x6s, or I think they're 6x6s. I was going to say 5x5s, but I think they're all 6x6 cards today. Okay, and you should have a roll of foam tape. You should have a little bow, which is pre-tied for you. I said I wasn't going to do that, but then I was so short on ribbon, I decided to go ahead and pre-tie them so that I could get the kits out the door. So you should have a little pre-tied bow. It may need a little bit of adjustment because they were all tied in a big hurry, but you can adjust that, get all your tails going the right way, and tails on cows, tails on bows, get it? I'm sorry, guys, I'm easily entertained. Sacred components. It must be something in the air here. Now Margie's got her head in her hands going, oh my God. Oh, well.
I think it was a good joke.
You gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. Okay, what should we start with? Here's where we're going. We've got our wonderful, we wish you a Merry Christmas. We've got our simple corner treatment here. And we've got our shaker card. Let's go ahead and start with our corner card. I always like to start simple and work my way up. Oh, guys, what would you do without me? Really?
Not this.
I had glitter all over my face earlier, and I told them that if you could see the glitter in the picture, that you would just think I was an angel. Everybody moaned. They said they didn't think you would mistake me for that.
You cannot let me into that. I need this.
Okay, well, anyway, put down my 3 lines of tape. There's not a single one of them was going to defend me either.
There's a lag, there's a lag.
Oh, guys, well, what do I say, What can I say? So I'm taking off my tape off my 3 lines of tape. Gonna put on my mirror board. How many of you are working along today? You guys have your kits? One with a shiny halo. Thank you, Alice. I knew somebody would stick up for me. It wasn't going to be Bryce. He was gagging at the thought. I just got my mirror on. Oh, hello, Kathy Schuttenheim. Nice. Schuttenhelm. How come I always try and say that wrong? Okay, good. Good. Crafty Kathy from Wisconsin. I just got my mirror board on while I was horsing around. Got it on a little crooked, but we know what I do about that.
Betty has her kit too.
Oh, good. Betty has your kit this time. Excellent. I'm going to trim my card down just a little because I messed it up. And hey, after this live stream today, I'm going to do just a really brief tutorial on maintaining your caterpillar crop. I'll post it in just a little while. One of the things I do with mine once in a while, I don't want to do it in the middle of class, but sometimes I make my caterpillar jump the track when I try and cut something too heavy. It does 2 layers of 300 GSM just fine. But if I try and do any more than that, sometimes I cause it to jump the track a little bit. And I want to show you how to fix that. We didn't turn off my ringer on my phone, so we all get to be entertained with the sound of Rocky. It's okay, just leave it.
I was literally turning off my phone ringer because I had forgotten it.
So you never really know. When the phones go off, everybody looks at me because my phone ringer is quite distinctive. Britta said she forgot to bring her boxing gloves. Hello, Crafty Gal. That's Deborah, right? Hello, Deborah. We got to get those puppies to the vet and back. I get it. Everybody's got to go get their shots and checked in and made sure they're healthy. That's good pet parenting right there. Oh, goodness. Let's see. Alrighty. Which one did I use on here? I used the corner on this one, I believe. Yes, I did. Okay. So we're going to take the corner of this card. We're going to use this one. And we're going to cut our corner for a 6-inch card. In this case, I don't think we need to cut anything off of the right side, just based on it's going to position really nicely on our 6-inch card. I am going to measure and make sure we're really truly 6 inches and not 6 1/4, some crazy thing. And I want to have, I'm going to start with 5 3/4 for my cutting lines. So I'm going to go to 5 3/4. I can always cut it down from there, but it's hard to put it back. So I'm going to start with 5 3/4 to cut my cardstock through. Anyway, before Rocky went off, I was going to tell you that occasionally I make my trimmer jump the track, and just because quite a few of you have these now, I'm going to do a really brief little video on how to adjust your trimmer and tighten it up, and I'm going to show you how to repair it if you jump the track with it, because quite a few of you guys have this now. And we'll also do just a minute on using this trimmer, because I've seen a couple of people who, one of our customers in particular, who was having concerns about getting nice, sharp, even cutting lines. So I want to talk a little bit about that, because I want to make sure that you guys are as pleased with your trimmer as I am with mine. So we're just going to take a few minutes and just shoot a little video for you after this. So we won't do it right in this video, but I wanted to let you know that's coming up and why. So I'm holding this up to my mirror board and I'm thinking that I really need a little more off my top. My two sides look good, but I need just a minute amount off the top. So I'm going to, maybe I didn't cut it. Well, I did cut it straight. Oh, I know why, because I trimmed it up just a little. And that probably threw me off just a tad.
Debbie, Alice wants to know if you are going to show how to replace the blade and the sliding blade.
Sure. Replacing the blade is easy because you never ever have to do it. You never have to replace the blade. But if we ever did have to replace the blade, it's manufacturer warranted for life. So if you ever have to make a claim and ask them to send you another one, I can show you how to put it on because it's the same way that we're going to fix it from jumping the tracks. So let me show you that and we'll take care of that. I also am hearing you, I've heard from two of our friends today that we want to, the metal bar, you don't have to do the metal bar, but I'm going to show you how to tighten it up. You never have to replace the metal bar, but I'm going to show you how to tighten this up. So yes, I gotcha. The other thing that we do in the classroom is we tend to carry them around like this, which loosens them up here. So we'll look at that too. We'll look at tightening it up and adjusting it. So that's the beauty of this thing. It should last you a lifetime with just very, very minor maintenance. So yes, we're going to do that. Okie dokie. Let's see. Oops, Bryce told me I shouldn't say that anymore. I didn't know that. But Bryce told me that's actually considered to be a slam against Oklahomans. I didn't know. If it is, if that's true, my apologies. I'm going to try really hard not to say that anymore. Just in case, because, you know, it's not my intent to offend anybody, but I'd never heard that before. So I guess I will try and correct that. Anyhow, I never want to pick on anybody. Life's too short, you know? We want to be nice to each other. Okay. See, I almost did it again. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to say. Okay.
I don't know that I'll catch you.
It's just something I've gotten so accustomed to saying in my lifetime that I just never really considered the fact that that could be ever considered not okay. If you guys ever catch me doing something like that, something, you know, tell me. You might not tell me on video if you're worried about that, but tell me, because I never want to offend anybody. Like I said, life's just too short. We need to be happy. Don't worry, be happy. You guys remember that song? What year was that? Like in the 80s. Don't worry, be happy.
I think it was towards the end.
Was it towards the end of the 80s? Yeah, mid-80s probably, that it was pretty popular. Yeah. Okay, I just put my border on. I used a little glue so I could slide it around just a little bit. I put it on now because then I don't have to measure it. I can just wrap it across my cardstock and glue it down. And we're going to go ahead and put this on. Use up the last of my tape on this roll and move on. If you've been looking for finger lift tape, we're temporarily out, but I have a pallet sitting in customs. Yes, I believe it was still in customs last week when we talked. It still hasn't arrived. Last Thursday, I was assured that it would be here Friday or Monday. It's now Thursday and it's not here yet. As this happens with international shipments, especially big ones, and this is a particularly large one coming in. It has all kinds of really cool stuff on it though. So I'm excited for it to get here. If you were watching me put down my 3 strips, you know that that center strip was totally unnecessary because I'm going to put out my tape flags and the center strip would be counter to what I'm trying to accomplish. So I goofed that, but that's a pretty small goof in the greater scheme of things. I'm going to go ahead and center my image on my card. Get everything right where I want it. When I have accomplished that and I'm satisfied with my margins, I will hold it firmly in one hand, pull the tape, hold it firmly in the other, pull the tape. Tore my tape. Now I'll reach under there and get the rest of the tape. That doesn't usually happen, but okay.
You were
All right.
holding firmly.
I was holding firmly, quite firmly, I guess, yes. Alrighty, and let's get what did you toss me, Ricky? Oh, okay. I'm imagining it. We're gonna do Wishing You a Christmas Like No Udder. Why does it tickle me so much? I don't know, but it's really funny.
It's gotta be why you're in a giggly mood.
That might be why I'm in a giggly mood. The whole Christmas Like No Udder concept here. There we go. I was just telling these guys, I saw the cutest thing before I came out here. We have this big old fat cat named Fergus. And he was laying on the floor, rolling back and forth, trying to get Teddy's attention. And Teddy was kind of snoozing. So Fergus went over and laid right down next to Teddy. And Teddy still wasn't paying attention. They were kind of almost nose to nose. And Fergus reached out with his paws, reached over his head, grabbed Teddy's head, brought it over and started washing Ted. It is so cute. Fergus is about what is he? How old do you think he is now? 5, 6?
My cats are 5.
And yours are younger than
They're
Fergus
way
and
younger.
Meredith.
I'd
Yeah,
say
so
probably
7?
8 or 9.
Yeah. Anyway, he's a male, neutered male kitty. And he and Teddy are just buddies. Everybody thinks Teddy's picking on him, though, because they, when they
Because
play...
sometimes he is.
Yeah, sometimes Teddy is picking on Fergus. Hello, Avis! Sometimes Teddy is picking on him. You know, when he jumps... Fergus weighs 22 pounds. Teddy weighs 12. So... Teddy will occasionally run and jump on Fergus's back and try to ride him. That doesn't go over well with the kitty, nor does it go over well with the kitty when he bites his tail. Those are 2 off-limit behaviors. But, yeah. But you can tell, when they're playing, a lot of times Fergus will just squall. But I try to tell everybody that's just like when boxers, before they go in the ring, this may be the theme of our class today, boxers. But before boxers go in the ring, they trash talk each other, all the things I'm going to do to you. I take it that that's what Fergie's doing to this dog. He's, kind of entices him into play, but then he trash talks him about all the things he's going to do to him.
I think that's wishful thinking on your part.
Oh, Brittany says she thinks that's wishful thinking, that Fergie really doesn't like whatever it is that Ted's doing. But at the same time, he does things like he entices Ted into play, too.
He does play with him, but I don't think it's always mutual.
It's not always mutual, that's true.
Ted thinks it's always mutual, but...
I'd love to say that Fergie's poundage is all in his size. He is a big cat. He's a big cat to begin with. But he's also, he's a little on the heavy side.
I believe it's what all of his medical records say.
Yeah, speaking of the vet chews on me about his weight every time we're there. But what do? He sneaks up, he eats the dog food. He goes in the bathroom. We have one of our kitties doesn't get along quite as well with the other two, so we have a separate feeding station for her in our bathroom. Well, Fergie sneaks in and gets into her food, as much as a 22-pound cat can sneak. He sounds like an elephant when he's walking. Well, we do love our pets. Okay, this card's done except for the most important component of this card, which is our Nuvo Drops. Let's go ahead and put them on. I was going to say we do them all at once, but why? Let's just do them as we go. That way this one can start drying. In your kit, if you got the kit from us, you'll have 3 colors of Nuvo Drops. Your colors may vary slightly, but because these dry translucent guys, they don't have to be exactly the same tones because they're going to pick up the colors out of the card. So one thing I learned doing this, and I want to pass along to you, at first I was trying to fill in the whole light bulb, and my recommendation to you is don't do that. Just put a drop in the middle. It looks better and less messy if you just put a drop in the light bulb as you go, instead of trying to fill. If you try and make them oblong and stuff, then they look uneven when you look at them later. And if you'll have the same effect from just putting a drop in the middle of the light bulb, and it will look much more uniform. So that's my hint to you, is after trying this and letting one dry, I missed one. After trying this and letting one dry, I just put a little drop right in the middle. The one thing that's beautiful about these Nuvo Drops is that they're self-leveling, which means that you put it on there and then it creates the little dome automatically, which is really nice. I like these a lot. In fact, we're going to use these in another, oops, that one was coming out because it was yellow. I didn't see it coming out, so. Another little hint about these, if you really don't like something, you get it on there in a way that you really don't like. If you don't mind just kind of starting over, you can take your baby wipe and you can wipe these off. They're water-based. And because our card is adorable scoreable and it's got that little bit of plastic film in it, you can wipe these off and dry it off and then try again. So if you really don't like it for some reason, or if you can get in there and just wipe off the one you don't like, you can do it again. It's not like you're committed to it. In the other card that I used them in, it's really cute, by the way, super cute. It's the one with the bears and the Christmas lights, the 2 little teddy bears, and one's holding the line and the other's all tangled up in the Christmas lights. I used Nuvo on all the lights of those. And the light bulbs on that one were purple. I used my blue right over the top of the purple, and it's perfect. Instead of getting out another bottle, I just used only before it's dry, Avis. If it dries, you're stuck. It's there for the duration. But if you wipe it off when it's still wet, you're fine. Just wipe it off with a baby wipe or just a damp, just not wet, but a damp towel. And then you can wipe it off, dry it off, and run at it again. But I used the blue drops over the top of my purple light bulbs, and they still came out beautifully purple. So you don't have to have exactly the same colors. Now, I did use a green tube on my other one. They were purple and purple and red and green, I think, on the other card. I did not try putting the lemon on, or this yellow on and over the green. It probably would have worked just fine. I happen to have had a green. So I'll put the green on my supplies list, but I'll bet you could probably try the yellow and it might work out fine. So there's our Nuvo Drops on that one. Now these will take a while to dry. So I'm going to set these way apart from what I'm working on so I don't mess them up. And that's one card done already. Next, let's go ahead and do our shaker card next. Because I want to get down to where I have everything in and ready to go before we do our last card. Let's see, which one did I use for the shaker? What did I do with my card samples? They were right here. There they are. Okay, I guess we're using a different piece of cardstock anyway. It really doesn't matter, but okay. Let's go ahead and do our shaker. And another of our 6-inch papers. That's my gatefold. My shaker card here. Ooh, that's a close call. Look at that. After I cut off my other one, it is like dead on 6 inches. That's okay though, it's big enough. I will always make sure when it's going to be a close call that I match to my fold side, because remember we can trim off anything else, but if you make a mistake on the fold side, then you have to come up with some other more creative kind of solution for fixing that. Hello, Maria. Welcome, welcome. Everybody having a good day? I was out here working on cards before class started. I have a few new ones to show you. Brittany's going to be putting the cards together so we can get those kits up for you. I've also been working, is it warm today, huh? It's cooler here. How warm is it, Deborah? Now, you're in California, right? You say from all the fires and stuff? I know that I was talking with Marilyn Mass, who's out there, right? You doing okay, Marilyn? You well back away from those fires now? I know she was close. Way south of Oceanside, okay. How about you, Marilyn? You doing okay? Okay, I put my card on. It actually fit really well. I'm just going to trim off my extra. Got my fold in the right place. Good thing to check after you do it, huh? Might have had to be one of those easels. Okay. Beautiful. That's pretty just by itself, isn't it? Love that. Yes, very good. No smoke today. Good, good, good. Okay, here's my covered card for my easel card. You guys need a minute? Tell me if you do. I'm going to take a quick swig of pop. Let me know if you need a minute to catch up.
You'll force yourself.
I'll force myself to have a little drink. We got a bunch of fires in Oregon too, but nothing compared to what you guys have in. Okay, cool today. Oh yeah. Oh, you guys have fires up there too, huh, Betty? We got one burning pretty wildly in the Columbia River Gorge. That's not good. So, pop a nut soda, eh? It's whatever you call Diet Coke. That's what it is. That's my obsession, Diet Coke. They ought to give me promotional value or something, because I talk about my Coke obsession all the time. I guess you have to be famous for that. I think we're falling a little short of famous at this point.
Goals in life.
Goals in life, Brittany says. Diet Pepsi, okay. Yeah. You know, I know the secret formula for Diet Pepsi. My cousin shared this with me once. You take Diet Coke, you pour it over ice, you let it sit all night, and in the morning you have Diet Pepsi.
You're horrid.
I don't think the Diet Pepsi company will send me free product. Okay, I want my pieces to stay together on my backer sheets, so I'm putting tape down. Alice says, "Oh no!" Christopher shared that with me years and years ago. He'd be surprised I still remembered it, I'm sure. But yeah, secret formula for Diet Pepsi. Oh, I'm picking on you guys. I'm sorry. Back in the days when I used to run a school, I always knew that things in school were good when the suggestion box was dominated by people wanting Coke instead of Pepsi or Pepsi instead of Coke in the vending machines. I used to think, you know, life's pretty good if that's the most they have to complain about. Oh no. That's too bad. I'm sorry that.
It's up by Napa.
Is that what? Yeah, Napa.
Up by Napa. It's
Napa,
a little
California?
bit north.
Yeah?
in California.
Okay.
It's about an hour north.
Okay, I put tape over my seam between these two. You guys will remember why I'm doing that. I put in, because I want to keep my center frame and my outer frame tight together. So sometimes I'll put tape over the top. And I'm going to go ahead and peel that tape because it might just as well help hold my card down. This is going to be there anyway. How's the fire in the gorge doing today? Have you heard?
I did not look.
We love living in the land of trees, but we pay a price for it, don't we, guys? And Californians and Oregons and Washingtonians and British Columbians, we pay a price for our trees, and that is we have a fire season, and it causes a lot of disruption in people's lives. The fire's worse last couple years than it's ever been before, I think, though. I'm putting down some more tape just to get it as close as possible to the edge. I want it to be right up to the edge on my shaker card. I don't want any of my little components hiding under there. So,
My mom's being funny.
the drink must be utterly delicious. I love that, Glenda. That's good.
Brittany's looking at me while I'm chuckling over here. My mom.
Oh, your mom's funny. I love you, Glenda. I miss you, friend. Someday when this COVID stuff settles down, we'll get our classes going again and on site, and we'll have some fun together. I miss crafting with you, though.
Emma's doing an awful good job of not going anywhere at all. Like, she said, but why can't we go to the grocery store? Well, because you want to go to Grandma and Grandpa's house, so
Okay.
she is self-quarantining for 2 weeks. Bless her little heart.
Oh, so she's going to get to go visit Grandma and Grandpa?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's exciting. Okay, let's go ahead and build our frame, build our window frame, guys. We know what we're doing, right? We're going to get our acetate out here. We're going to build a nice frame around our window. That's so funny. Utterly delicious. I'm not going to use that wide tape. That's going to stress me out. I'm using the narrow stuff. I love putting the tape down on these square windows. Much easier than the round ones. If any of you missed getting the inner cards, I know that we sold out of those. I just placed another order with our vendor in UK, and we are, what, Brittany?
You ordered more.
No. Do I have enough to make your card that you want in your next kit?
That's actually the outer one. So yes.
So we still have the outer.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Brittany was
Take some.
looking at me like, I might have to kill you now. I worried there for a minute. Yeah, if any of you missed getting the inner cards, they're sold out, but we will be getting more in the next week or so because she's shipping them right out to us. She already had them ready to go. So I like this new vendor. She's wonderful. We also ordered more of the sweet sentiments. We sold out of a couple of those, so we have more of those coming. That I knew you guys were gonna like that getting old sentiment. That just cracked me up. I loved that getting old sheet. That one's sold out, but we have more of those on order. They're really fun. Okay, we're putting our acetate on, and we are just trimming around our window.
You're officially out of the outer ones too.
Oh, now I'm officially out of the outer ones too, but there will be more coming in a week or so. I'm using a lot of those this year because I just really like them. I like what they do. You know, it just makes your card extra fancy, and it's really no more work. So I do like that. I like the concept of having extra fancy with no work. Okay, get shaker tape out. We're going to run a bead of shaker tape. You guys have heard me say this lots of times, but we want this to be not in your window. We don't want it to show in the window, but we do want it to come as close to the sides as we can without showing. And when we come up to the intersections of the two pieces of tape, make sure that it's butted up there really good. We want them to be really tight seams because we don't want any of our wonderful shaker components to get out and run around, because they will, and they will seek ways to do that. I was just thinking as I was saying that, getting out and running around, one of our neighbors subscribe to an email locally called neighborhood, next door, that's what it's called, next door. And one of the neighbors had posted a post that said, here's a picture of my pet, would you like to post yours so we can all look at our pets and admire them? I just thought it'd be fun. So I had to decide which of my pets to post, because we have 3 cats and a dog and our goat. I had to decide which pets to post, and I opted for Teddy and then Milo the goat, because it was novel and not a lot of people around in the middle of the city have goats, so I thought they might like that. So I posted Teddy and Milo, and then one of my neighbors contacted me and said, so I have a few questions about goats. We're thinking of getting a goat. Do you mind answering a few questions? And she asked me about hoof trimming, and I ended up sending her like 3 pages of notes on goat care, the pros and cons of goat ownership. And one of them was, they're escape artists. You have to really make sure you have a secure fence line, because goats are smart. They are so smart, and they are a little impish. And I'm using my embossing magic pillow to mess up my window. This is not an absolutely crucial step. If you don't have one, don't stress about it, but eventually get one for your shaker carts. What I'm doing is I am cutting the static electricity on the acetate, and I'm coming right up against my tape. Now I have not peeled my tape yet, but I'm coming right up against my tape to try and kind of deactivate some of the sticky on the inside border of my tape, because I don't want all of my confetti to stick to the sides of the card either. We got a new baby. I have a new great-granddaughter this morning. Oh, wow. Congratulations, Betty. That's so exciting. What's her, what's her name? We need all the stats. Mom and baby are doing great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's exciting. That's very exciting. Well, to go to eat all my craft supplies, he's kind of a codger. Now, we are most definitely not your typical ranchers with livestock. We have goats and we live right in the middle of the city. We have a fairly good sized lot that we fenced off. I'm going to put my shaker components in today. Oh, good. I'm glad everybody's healthy. My phone's ringing again, so if your picture-in-picture temporarily disappeared, it should be back after it's done.
That's as low as I can get it.
Oh.
The ring.
I am going to put my shaker components in today so I don't have to reach in and try and pull up my tape and have to glue it back and do all the things I had to do last time. Brittany gave us beautiful confetti, and here we have the cloud confetti, and then we have some of those beautiful iridescent stars, which go really, really nicely with the, here, I'll give you, you can reuse the packet.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm peeling up my tape now. Peeling up my paper on my tape, I should say. And, I was telling you about Milo. We aren't sophisticated ranchers, so while we have more recently built a place that the goats can go in when they're sick, when we first got Milo, we didn't have a place for him, and a place for him outside, and we had to keep him away from our other goat at the time, quarantine him for 7 days before, it was supposed to be 14, but 7 was all we could stand. So he had a dog crate, a big dog crate, in the kitchen of our house. We taught him not to leave the kitchen floor, so he could, he would go out and he would step a foot on the carpet every once in a while just to test us and see if we were serious about him not being able to go other places. And we taught him to stay off the carpet, so he stayed in the kitchen. We taught him to go outside and go potty. And so we could take him out and tell him go potty, and he'd hold it until it was time to go out again. Goats are remarkably smart creatures. Okay, I am matching my frame over my glued down inner part. And we have our shaker completed. And, goats are herd creatures, so they want lots of attention, if not from their herd, then from you. So while he was in the house, and he was young then too, he was, I think, 3 or 4 months old when we bought him. And he would get lonesome if he went in the other room, so I'd sit at the table and do my crafting and stuff. But just like a dog or just like a toddler, he would get bored and he'd think I should be petting him or talking to him. He'd come over and run lay his head on my lap and wait to be petted. And if I wasn't paying enough attention, he'd grab things and start pulling it off the table. Or I had a garbage can there next to my workstation. He would grab something out of the garbage and throw it out on the floor and then look at me like, hey, you're going to pay me attention now? Just like a toddler, just like a dog. It was crazy. Goats are very smart. So that lasted about a week, and my daughter needed to sleep on the sofa in the living room where he could see her, or he bleated all night long. As long as he could see one of his people, he was fine, but he would not, he wouldn't settle down unless he could see one of his people there. I'm going to go ahead and glue my tag down and put my best glue ever on my ribbon. And let that start drying so I can put my tag down. I won't clip my tag tails until I get it on there and see how it looks. See what I still want to do to it. So oh, I got my fingers all sticky now. That best glue ever doesn't just want to rub off like others. Oh, that's a good idea, Kathy. I love that. You put your fold at the top, so when you open it, it goes to the top and you watch it come back down and you close it. That's a great idea, Kathy. Thanks for sharing that. I love that. That's a perfect idea. Love it. I love it when you guys share. Thank you for doing that. Okay, I'm going to show you again how much glue I'm using. You can see I kind of spread it around a little bit with my bottle, with the nozzle of my bottle, just to get just a little bit on there. These are not big masses of glue, they're just tiny little lines. So I'm going to set that off to the side to dry. And I'm going to go ahead and put my tag down. Then I will put my bow over the top of it as if the bow is holding it there. Up until recently, we've always had two goats. They're herd animals and they like to be together, but one of our goats passed in last fall of cancer. And Bryce said, I'd like to see if Milo can do okay by himself, because I'd kind of like when Milo goes to kind of retire from goat herding for a while.
Then you'll have blackberry herding.
Yeah, then we'll have to cut down the blackberries. I don't know how long that will last before he gets another goat, but there was huge blackberry vines there when we moved here, and the goats took care of those. And they've never, every time the blackberries try to come back up, the goats trim off those tasty little morsels, and we've never had problems with blackberries since. But yeah, Milo's doing okay being an only goat, because Teddy and Bryce go out and see him all the time. Teddy plays with him through the fence, and they do pretty well together. So this one's done, except for our bow on there. You'll notice, I didn't think of it. I actually could, if I wanted to, and I might want to, because I really like these Nuvo Drops. I could put Nuvo Drops on the frame. I think I'll wait till after I put my bow on, though. So, okay. So that one's done for now, till I put the bow on. Let's do this one. Now this one, I wanted to share with you, I did something different here. See how the lights are on here? What I did, and you know me, I don't like to measure, but I did it anyway on this one because I thought it would be fun to have 2 rows of lights behind this topper. So what I did is I cut 3-inch strips on here, and then I took the middle part out and I fitted my strips together. Now they actually, it didn't show really at all that I did that, but just for fun, really, I put down a strip of my border over my seam so it would never, kind of crack there or act up at all. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut 3-inch strips. And let's see, I know they only have to be a total of 6 inches wide. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my cardstock to 6 because there's no reason to cut strips in that one. And now I'm going to cut to 3 inches. And I'm going to cut to 3 inches again. And now we'll start covering our card. And what I want to do now is I'm going to cover one panel at a time. Now I could go like this if I wanted to, and that actually would be just fine, but my lights are going the wrong way, but you can have lights go up and down, so that actually is probably an easier way. But I want my lights to go this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on one of my strips. Peel this, of course. And I'm going to line this up nicely. Let's see. Make sure that I have my strips going the right way. Oh, there we go. No, it's going up. Let's see, down. Oh, I know what I did. No, do I know what I did? Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm going to put my strip of lights on. I'm going to line up to my fold line and across the top. I'm going to trim this off with my scissors. And then I'm going to put the other one right there where I just cut it. I'm going to match it on the side. Match it right up together and cover the other side of my panel. Now the reason I like to do this way is that I want to match my pattern and I want to match I don't want to cut a bunch of squares and then have to figure out which ones go side by side. So this is a nice way to keep everything by just cutting it where I needed to cut it. I just cut that off just a tad at the top, but you know what I'll do about that. But I just end up with a really nice seam between, and I think the most important thing to make a shaker card look great is to have a good match in the center. Hi, Kim. Welcome, welcome. Okay, now I'm going to put this one here. Candidly, I don't know how I got both rows headed down last time. If I do this, I'm going to end up with all my light bulbs in the center, which is fine. I'm not sure how I did that last time, that I ended up having them come the other way. Doesn't matter. It's not rocket science. I'm going to come back the other way. Okay, so I'm going to put my tape down here. Put my tape down here. Anyway, I started to tell you about the goats. So Mila was in the house, and we decided that it was, after a week, Bryce was saying this goat's really kind of driving me crazy having it in the house because he's stringing the hay around, and he was really a good boy. I mean, for heaven's sakes, he let us teach him to use the bathroom outside. He was a good goat for the most part, but he was still a goat in the kitchen, So we decided that we needed to try and move him outside. So I went to the farm store and I bought some 4-foot fencing and some fence posts. When we came home, we drove the fence posts in the middle of our yard, trying to still honor the keeping the quarantine, We drove the fence posts in out there. We put up the wire, and we put the goat in there. And it was late by the time we finished that, so Bryce said, why don't you just do it in the morning, and that way, he's not out there in the dark for his first night, because we're all pretty much softies. And so we put the goat, the next morning I got up and I went out and I took the goat out with me. And I put him in the enclosure. And we put his dog house. He had this big dog house that he'd had in the kitchen. He had that in the enclosure with him. And first he tried, show us the card again. You said it was an easel card. Oh, did I say it was an easel? If I said it was an easel, I'm crazy. It's not an easel card. It's just a gatefold. So I put the goat in there, and I went to the sliding door and let myself in downstairs and came up to the kitchen and watched him, or looked for him. By the time I got to the kitchen window, up the stairs and into the kitchen, he was out and standing at the slider waiting to come in bleeding because he thought he needed to be in the house.
Are you tying this for them?
No.
How long?
Is it a triple, double?
I think it's a 4.
Oh, that's the little one. Yeah, a yard
Do you
of
want
that
to
should do
switch
it.
to the other? Or this?
Oh, I think it's okay to use that.
A yard?
Yeah, give him a yard. Sorry. So he was already waiting for me at the door. So I thought, well, that's not good. So I went out and I got him. And I put him back in, told him I needed him to stay there, and I came back in, and by the time that I got to the kitchen window again, once again he was out. And so I went back and I had a tie down, and I don't even know why we had it because we've never staked our dogs, but we had a tie. One of those screw into the ground ties that you can put a dog chain on. I put that in there, and I put it into his kennel. I made sure that he had plenty of room to move and stuff, and I put that in his kennel. And then I left him in the backyard. He was yelling about it before I ever got out of there. And I left and went upstairs. Well, he started pulling on his collar. He pulled once, and he kind of snapped back, and he pulled again, and he kind of snapped back. And the third time he pulled on it, he broke the collar, broke the catch on the collar, and up over the fence he went, back to the door, waiting for me again. And about that time I thought, this is just too much. You know, Bryce is going to have to get involved in this endeavor because I'm not going to deal with this anymore. And I was afraid he was going to hurt himself. So Bryce came home. I said, what should we do? Back to the farm store we went and we bought some 6-foot fencing. So we got the 6-foot fencing. And we worked over the fence. Once again, it was too late to put him in there. Hi, Katie and Kelly. Nice to see you here. So we built the 6-foot high enclosure. We just wrapped it around the 4-foot, what we'd already done. And we thought, well, that will entice him not to jump at it, you know, that'll be better. This is a little bit close here, so I'm going to take just a tiny little sliver off my cover. I don't want to take too much because I don't want the white from the inside of my card to show, but I want it to match up better. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to trim this down just a tiny, tiny bit on top. And I actually have them coming over the back just a little bit, so I'm going to trim this up. So just a little maintenance here. So you guessed it, the next day I take the goat out and I try and put him in the 6-foot enclosure. The very first thing he did was jump up on top of his goat house and see if he could make a jump for the fence from on top of the goat house. It's the dog, aka dog kennel. And he determined that was too far, so I thought, oh, I'm winning. So I left him in the backyard, came up to the front yard. Well, that little stinker, then I saw him prowl around. He was walking the fence line all the way around, just walking it. We probably had the enclosure, I'm going to guess it was about maybe 16 by 16 feet. It was a good size enclosure for him. And he walked the fence line all the way around, testing the fence everywhere. And when he decided that that wasn't going to work, he started running the fence line and seeing how fast he could run from one corner to the next. Running the fence line. And about the third time he made that circle, he ran up the corner of the fence. On the two corners, he had paws on both, or hooves on both sides of the corner, and he tried running up the fence. And then he fell back down. But he got his head way over the fence line. In fact, he got his head and shoulders over the fence line. He fell back in, and I thought, oh, is he going to be okay? Is he going to be okay? And I just watch him. And then he starts to run again. And the second time, he got most of his body up, but he kind of fell back and hit the post. And then I was really worried. So I made him come back in the house because I didn't want him to hurt himself. Waited till Bryce got home, and Bryce said, well, I have to see this. So he put him back in his kennel, and it didn't take him but just a minute to start doing that run for it again. He ran the fence line. He ran up the corner. He got 2/3 of the way over and then fell back in the pen. And Bryce said, yep, you're right, he's going to kill himself. And he went out, he got the goat, and he opened the gate to the pen where the other goat was. And he said, have at it, buddy. Quarantine was over.
A week and 2 days.
Because he just was not having it. And then he stayed out there, even though he was with another goat, he stayed out there bleeding because he really thought he needed to be a house goat. Because we had become his herd. So that's my goat story. We have many. There's also the time that I called the police because the goats were gone. I couldn't figure out where they've gone to. I called the police because we live in the middle of the city, you know. Not the city of Portland, the city of Tigard, which is considerably smaller, but nonetheless, we have a major state highway just blocks away from us. And I called the police and said, I'm not sure where my goats are, but I do know they're out. If you get any reports of goats, please call me and I will come and fetch them. And then the officer I was speaking to said, could you have goats in this city? And I said, well, I presume so, because livestock's okay. People all over have cows and horses. And she said, you're right. I guess that's fine. Okay, thanks for letting us know. And of course, right after I called the police, I went down and looked around the yard again. And we used to have where the shop sits now, where this classroom sits, there used to be an open deck, and there was a big mound of dirt when they excavated to build this house. The mound of dirt went up, but then it went back down on the other side. I went out there and looked again and called them, got the goat cookies out, and I saw two little heads pop up from over that mound of dirt. They were under the deck and behind that mound of dirt. And we've had many adventures with our goats. We totally love them. They're so funny, and they're so fun. We knew they'd be good grass eaters. We never in a million years anticipated they'd be such good and funny pets. They're really hysterical. Okay, so we got our gatefold done. We trimmed it off with our border piece so that we have all of our light bulbs showing on one card. And we'll want to put some Nuvo Drops on here. I would put these down before I attach this one, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a lot of the light bulb that shows both above and below it, and I think you want the Nuvo Drops to show there. So what we might do, just to make sure that we can allow the Nuvo Drops to show nicely there, is put this up on some foam squares so that it will still lay nicely once the Nuvo Drops are on there. So let's go ahead and put some on there. And our goats, we love our goats. Everybody in Tigard practically knows who we are because the walking trails for the city of Tigard, there's walking trails all over the city. It's just kind of a quality of life issue here that people, really enjoy these nature trails that go throughout the city, and you can join into them in a lot of places, but the stairway from the lower part of the walking trails to the upper part of the walking trails borders one side of her property, and the goat habitat is right on the walking trail. So I'd go to the workroom at school when I was helping with art literacy, and people, you're talking with the other parents there, and you'd say, try and get just kind of comparing where you live and one thing and another, and I would describe to people where I lived, and they'd say, now, where are you in relation to the people with the goats? We are the people with the goats. When we decided to get the goats, I wasn't sure what the city of Tigard would say. It's kind of one of those things that I knew what I wanted to do, and I thought it might be better to say I'm sorry than to ask permission. So I didn't check with the city of Tigard, although I did believe it would be fine, because there are people with horses, and still a few people with horses and a few people with cows in Tigard. It's kind of grown up around them. And so the very first thing I did when we brought the baby goats home, and there's nothing in the world cuter than a baby goat, I'll tell you, was to invite all the kids in the neighborhood to come over and pet and feed and play with the goats. And so, once the kids are in love with them, it's not like any of the parents were going to complain. Yep, these are the things I do. Besides that, it was real fun to watch the kids play with the goats, too. It was. They're a lot of work, but they're a lot of fun too. You know, you get this image of goats, you know, that the cartoons and things have created, that they can eat anything and they're indestructible. Our experience has been that, you know, they're actually a little bit fragile. I've had the vet bills to prove it. Okay, so I've got my Nuvo Drops on. I'll put some foam squares on here and mount that when my Nuvo Drops are dry. And our gatefold card will be finished. Let's go back and put our bow and our Nuvo Drops on our other card that we finished. I think our bow should be done by now. If you just put see, I can tell it's done because there's no longer any white drops there. I'm going to put my bow on first. And put that there. Then I'm going to trim up my tails to a point where I like them. Always cutting them at an angle, of course. I can still see my party till the cows come home nicely there. So I'll do that. Now I'm going to put a few drops on here. Because look at this cute border here. You can add just little drops to that, and that's going to be really cute. So I think I have to do it, guys. I think I have to. And remember, just a little dot in the center is better than trying to fill, at least my experience. Now, you might have a different experience, but my experience was that I like the looks of a little drop in the center better than trying to fill all the little bubbles. What I love about, one of the things I love about this is that the cards are wonderfully tactile. You know, you touch them and then you can't help but run your fingers across. It's like embossing, you know. You can't help but run your fingers against embossing on paper when you do it because it just looks and feels really nice. And that's kind of an effect you get by putting these little bubbles of Nuvo over your light bulbs. You get this wonderfully little tactile feeling from the card. So I like that. And I like the way that surprisingly the Nuvo kind of intensifies the color of the bulb just a little.
Avis is asking what the name of the glue is for the bow.
The name of the glue for the bow is called The Best Glue Ever. And it is absolutely, you guys could probably quote me on this because I say this every time I talk about the best glue. It's absolutely the best glue for gluing down bows because it turns into a glue dot. While it's liquid, it gets into the fibers of the ribbon. And then when it dries, it's a glue dot. And it creates a wonderful bond that your bows are way less likely to fall off. And see, there's one that I kind of messed up. So let's have one of those demonstrations of cleaning this off. See, I had to do this, guys, so that you could see a demonstration of taking one off if you don't like it. So I got my baby wipe. I'm just going to scoop that off. I'm going to dry it off a little bit because I want it to be nice and clean. I just reached in there between them and I didn't have them all down yet, so it worked just fine to take it off. It just got bigger than I wanted. It wasn't the same size as the others. There we go. And what was I talking about? Oh, best glue ever. So it dries into a glue dot, which makes it the best glue ever for putting on bows. It's just fabulous. One tube will last forever. I mean, it really does last a long time.
And you can also use it as a zot.
Yes, Margie said you can also use it like a zot or a glue dot, which is perfect, you know, so for putting down some of your embellishments. However, I don't like to use it to put frilly things or intricate die cuts, that kind of thing, because anywhere that glue shows, it's still going to be sticky. So there's other adhesives I would prefer to put down those kinds of things. But it certainly is the best glue ever when it comes to ribbon. I don't know if you guys can see the little dots, if you can see the little raised areas or not from your camera vantage.
I think it'll be harder to tell.
It might be hard to see. But they look great. I'm going to set that aside. And it will take a little while for the glue dots on this card, on my centerfold, to dry enough to put this on. So I'm going to wait a little while for that. While I'm waiting, I might as well put them on this though. Excuse me, I'm going to put some on here. So this is just a really fun card, and the fun of it not only comes from an utterly wonderful Christmas and party till the cows come home, but I think the dots make this a really fun card too. So if this is your first time trying Nuvo dots, I'll be curious to hear from you what you think when they're dry. If you like them, if you think it's fun addition, if you see yourself using it for other projects. Then I want to show you, after I get these dots on here, I'll show you what I've been working on. I've been having great fun working on these kits this year. Brittany says she can always tell when I'm having fun because I moved from making basic cards, and some of them just kind of have to be basic, guys. I mean, really. A few of them you're going to make will be, kind of standard card designs. But others, she can always tell when I'm having fun because I tend to get pretty creative. So let me show you what I've been up to. This is a new one coming up. It's not listed yet, but it will be. I can't remember what this is called.
Which one?
The snowman?
I can look it up.
I don't remember. It's out of the Santa and Friends kit. But here's one of our cards. I just used a little sticker King Merry Christmas there. I'm still thinking I might put a couple purple snowflakes. I do like the way this looks just like it is. And it's simple, but maybe the simple is good. I haven't tried it yet to see if I want it. What do you guys think? Put on purple snowflakes or leave it be?
It's called Together at Christmas.
Together at Christmas, which makes sense because it had a little topper that said, let's get together at Christmas. That's the only one I didn't use because getting together at Christmas this year may be really difficult, and I just didn't use it. But here's this snowman. Let me know what you think about putting snowflakes on him. Here's this one. I love this. Where else do you find a snowman juggling penguins? We did have that stamp that time, though. Katie said purple snowflakes. Is Katie and Susan says let it be. Hello, Susan. I think it's nice the way it is. I did cut out the little penguin, and that's kind of fun already. Here is, this was how I used my little topper. I had these penguins and this little topper left. And so I added this border, which I had left over, and brought it down. And then I used a leftover piece of my Mirri that I had sitting here, created that little star for the season's greetings to sit in. And then it makes a bigger topper out of that little one. Added a few rhinestones. Yes, I did. Brittany's told me, Debbie, you gotta take it easy on the rhinestones. I don't have many of that size left, but the 3mm will work just fine here. Added some nice sparkle in the snowflakes, and it was good to go. And then you knew it had to be, guys. I'm just really into these cards this year because they're fun and they're new and they're different. So here's my snowman juggling penguins. I have a little penguin topper here. Enjoy the festive fun on that tag. Merry Christmas. And then my little And you know, I complain about it every week. Why should this week be different? I didn't get inserts, but but my Easy Peely
Still
inside
don't feel
looks
bad.
really cute.
Sorry.
Really cute. And this one's about snowmen and frosty fun and the magic of the season. I thought that one fit really well with the snowman juggling penguins. So there's one of our new sets. Those Easy Peelies are just great. And see, these will still fit up, or will still fold up and fit in a standard envelope. Isn't that cool? So that's one set I finished. I think we have this one, isn't it? Let's see what's coming up. Saturday is this one. This is coming up on Saturday. Deck the halls. We scheduled this for Saturday because it might take more time, because there's 6 cards out of one set. We've got this one. I love this one. How simple is that? But it's gorgeous. Just season's greetings, some little jewel dazzles on it, and call it good. But I love this one. This one's pretty. That's the 4 out of the one piece of Adorable Scoreable. Then we also had this one. And we had this one. And I think the big feature of these cards not only is that you get 6 of them out of one set, but these using that just gorgeous red ribbon to tie our bows. Anybody try that yet? Try tying your bows out of that new red ribbon? We'll be doing it on Saturday. If not, we'll give it a try together. Yay, Betty got hers. Yay, okay. So we're ready to go with that one. I've only shown this once, and we sold 20 out of 25 kits immediately. This is our piece on Earth. It's also on one of those. This is on the inverse one. So we'll have to wait to put more of these kits together. If we sell out, we'll have to wait a little while until our cardstock comes in. That's the one that Brittany was frowning at me that she thought I used. I didn't. It's the other one.
Except for I had to zero out the thing to make your snowman kit.
And this one I pulled a little sneaky. This is actually the corner off my card, and I made my window using the ring that was around the dove. That was Margie's. I was sitting here trying to figure out what I was going to do to make that into a shaker card, and Margie said, "Well, you got the ring on the dove." I said, oh, "You're right." We used some acetate snowflakes in this kit. It's got lots of sparkle and shine. Woolly cues. Appropriate accent will come to the fence. Oh, Susan Dodd said in Scotland, those woolly cows, woolly cues, with the appropriate accent will come to the fence for carrots. I love that. I love animals of all kinds. I really do. You probably guessed that from my stories. There we go. That is our, what day is this one happening?
That one is the 29th, which is a Saturday.
Okay,
Because
so
on the 27th, you're doing ball making again.
okay, so this is this Saturday. Then we have bow making. Grab your bow makers, guys. Even if you've been through that class before, grab your bow makers. Let's do some practice together. And then this will be the following Saturday.
Yeah, the 29th.
Okay. So the snowmen and the juggling of penguins will probably be maybe that next Thursday or
My
thereabouts.
guess is this is going to be Thursday, because I think these are
Oh,
a little
okay.
bit
Oops,
easier.
Brittany is bringing me another one that we
And
have
then
done.
the snowmen, I think,
Oh
we're
yeah,
gonna make
this
Saturday.
one. This one is that Thursday. Yeah. Now these are gorgeous. Oh my gosh. I knew when the first time I saw it I was going to love this one with the clock, and I was not disappointed. I really, really love this one. So this is that Thursday. So then
The 3rd.
then the snowman, I guess, will get bumped to that Saturday.
Yep, the 5th, because I think there's 5 or 6 cards and they're a little bit more detailed.
Okay.
That's my thought.
Beautiful. I pulled a sneaky here too. We'll talk about it when we get closer. I did something sneaky here. Love these cards. So there's 4 of them in this set. Beautiful. That's what we have coming up for you. Watch for the video to come up on the trimmer. Watch for a video coming up on removing your stamps from wood blocks and putting them on, making them into cling stamps. We're going to be getting that done also here in the next week or so. Do we have it? Oh, and if you're watching and you're enjoying this and you think we're doing a good job, please give us a thumbs up. Tell us that you like what we're doing. Great for my statistics. That will help YouTube to refer more people to our channel, suggest videos for people to watch. And if you are, you can always hit that subscribe button to subscribe to our channel. And if you're not already a subscriber to our newsletter, think about doing that, because that's where you're going to find out about you're going to get the links to any products that we've used. You're going to find out about sales. I have one of those coming up here soon, guys. So if you're not currently on our newsletter, be sure you get on the newsletter. And by the way, I had like 20 people who are regular subscribers, many of them regular subscribers, who bounced out of the newsletter when I did it on Sunday. If you did not get a newsletter from me on Sunday, you may have been one of those people that got bounced out. And I know some of our regular people who are regular customers, regular subscribers who open and use that newsletter got bounced out. So if you did not get a newsletter from me on Sunday, one of the things you can do to keep your Earthlink was one of the companies, and then I'm trying to think what the other one was that bounced a whole bunch of people. They're reading it as spam. One way you can correct that is to add me to your address book, as if you're adding a friend. Add me to your address book. You can put it in as Debbie Hamilton and then put in Simply Special Crafts into your address book. And then your newsletter may start coming through. I didn't actually take those people off who bounced this week because I know a whole bunch of you didn't want to get deleted from newsletters. So be sure to do that. Marianne, nice to see you, friend. I always like to see names that we don't see as often in class. So great. Thank you for your compliment. Be sure you give me the thumbs up if you like what's happening. Check out and make sure you got a newsletter on Sunday. If you didn't, you need to add me as a friend and then email me, and I will shoot another copy of the email out to you, and we'll see if it goes through, so I can problem solve with you to make sure that you stay on the list. And you want to be on the list if you're not already a subscriber, because I have a new sale coming up soon, a new coupon code, and you're going to want to use that. So I guess that's it then. If there's no questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom.
I have a comment.
Oh, Margie has a comment.
Can you show them the inside of your card? Since these dots are drying, there's some special things that you put on the inside when you open up that I don't think that we covered.
I did. Oh well.
The back and
yeah. This is one of the things I do sometimes when I am. Margie had asked me to show you this. One of the things that I do sometimes when I'm making a shaker card is I will cover the flap it doesn't matter unless you're lining the inside, but if you're lining the inside and everything else is nicely finished, which I did not do because I did not have a liner, but if you, an insert, but if I had lined everything else, I wouldn't want to leave all this blank. So you can cover the back of your overlap here with just a little piece of paper, and that gives it kind of a finished look. So I think that's what Margie wanted me to share.
Yeah, and you've got on the opposite side just a little
Oh,
secret.
yeah. And then I used one of my extra tags when I do a gatefold card. I don't know why I just started doing this years ago. I like to put a little extra something right inside under that extra, just a little unexpected. So I'll look and see if I have a little button, topper, or if I have a little extra tag, or just something that I can stick on there. And this time I used the little cow tag and just a little something extra under the flap, just for fun.
Thank
Okay? Any other questions or comments or requests? Are there any other special techniques videos you guys would like to see that I haven't done? Just let me throw that out there. What do you want to see a class in you haven't gotten yet? Yes, we're going to do the paper trimmer video in Alice in a separate video. So that's coming, that will come up under a separate video because I want those who are looking for it to be able to find it, and they won't find it under this title. So thank you for the reminder, but we're going to do that in a separate video, as I will on the mounting of your stamps. Embossing powder, I still owe you that one, Betty. You are absolutely right. As soon as we get back to stamping, we will do some embossing powder projects. We're just almost done with our YouTube cards for Craftiganza, and once we have, I think, I'm pretty close to being done with all the kits, and I said I was going to do at least 2 cards from every kit. I think I have one more that I'm going to add. I'm working on now. We're going to make a rocker card out of the Rockin' Robin card set out of cute because, guys, it just had to be done. It had to be done. And that kit will include your actual rocker card base. But then I think we'll be able to roll back into doing a stamping class, and we'll do the embossing powder. So thank you for that reminder. Anything else, guys? Okay. Last chance. I'm going to give you a chance to respond, because there's like a 20-second gap between what I see and what I say and what you guys hear. Okay, I think we're going to call it good then, and I will see you guys on